Welcome back to the Anfield Exchange, and Champions League football is back. Liverpool tomorrow night take on Atletico Madrid at Anfield in the first game of the league phase this year. And in this video, we're going to look at what threat Atletico Madrid can offer, who the dangerous players will be, and what Liverpool can do going forward as a team as well, and what Liverpool we can expect to see tomorrow night. It's good to have Champions League back. It gives Liverpool and the other teams as well, it gives everybody a chance to maybe rotate the squads a little bit and just get excited about another competition as well as the Premier League as well. So, yeah, listen, we're going to start off with Atletico Madrid. And we know what we can expect from Atletico Madrid, but there's some changes that have been made this year to Atletico, so we're going to go into that as well. So the stereotypical Atletico Madrid under Diego Simeone is a very organised team. It's a very low block, a very high press, and yeah, technically very good, who can churn out some big results. We've experienced them at Liverpool, at Anfield, and obviously at their ground as well. Other teams have been sort of found short, Real Madrid, Barcelona in the past as well. So yeah, look, we know that Diego Simeone, he has a very organised team. He likes to play a certain style of football. It's not everybody's perfect way of playing football, but it's the way he likes to go. So yeah, in terms of that style, so Atletico Madrid will look to play with a low block to try and frustrate the opponents. Liverpool in this scenario. It's sort of Simeone's signature style of football. And he does it very well. Like I say, they're very organised. But I think there's one slight difference this year with Atletico Madrid. And I think they're looking to try and be more of an attacking force this year. I think that shows in the matches they've played so far in La Liga. We've not managed to we've kept one clean sheet in 4 games, but those 4 games they've played Espanyol, Elche, Alaves and Mallorca. So not the stereotypical Atletico Madrid. You'd expect Madrid to keep clean sheets in all of them games in prior years. So they can be got at. I think that's important to say. And to be fair, in the Champions League, they'll probably aim to be a little bit more solid than what they have in the league so far. I think they have that aura about them as a club where they step up for the Champions League games at the European nights. A little bit like Liverpool in terms of the European nights under the lights at Anfield. I think Atletico Madrid are of a similar mould. So as well as that, it's always good to get a point away from home. We all know in the Champions League, the home matches, that's where you've got to pick your points up. You've got to win your home games. So Atletico Madrid coming to Anfield would be more than happy to walk away with 1 point in this game. Knowing that they've got the ability to take teams back to, I can't remember what the ground's called, but back to their ground and pick up 3 points. In terms of why have they struggled, in defensively they've struggled, not so much in general. We've drawn a couple of games, but why have they struggled this term defensively? Well, we touched on it a little bit with they're looking to become more of an attacking team. It certainly looks to be in the beginning of this season. They have got a couple of injuries. Jimenez is injured, and Baena and Thiago Almada are all injured. So they have got a couple of injuries. So they haven't got the greatest depth in the squad. So they're having to make do. I think the problem with Atletico is, and they may have identified this themselves, they lack a little bit of pace at the back. So I think what we're trying to do is press higher and win the ball higher up the pitch to try and protect that back four a little bit. It's certainly a different look to Atletico than what we've seen in previous years. It's more of an offensive-minded view of how to play football, and it's not something you normally associate with Diego Simeone. But they've had a breakthrough story in Giuliano Simeone, who he plays on the right wing for Atletico Madrid. He's so quick, he's so good on the ball, and he's so good in the transition stages of the game. He's so good at getting Atletico Madrid up the pitch and on the counter-attack. So I think that's one of the danger men that Liverpool need to look out for is Giuliano Simeone. Like I say, he is so quick, and then they've also got the likes of Julian Alvarez, who was a Liverpool target in the summer, allegedly. he would have. I mean, I would have loved to have Alvarez at the club if Isak wasn't available. It wasn't to be. But I think the way Alvarez moves off the ball, his movement off the ball is so good that he creates space for players like Giuliano Simeone to run into, to counter-attack into. And when he's got so much pace, I think it's a dangerous combination for Liverpool as well. They've also got Alexander Sorloth, who he probably doesn't get the recognition he sort of deserves. He doesn't play all the time for Atletico Madrid, but off the bench he's so dangerous. I've seen it time and time again where he comes off the bench and he gets a big goal, he gets an important goal. He's robust, he's physical, he's got a great finish on him. So yeah, if he gets a chance, 8-9 times out of 10 he tucks that chance away. He is prolific. In terms of what Liverpool can do to counter these threats, the threats of Simeone, the threats of Alvarez, the threats of, I would say Simeone as a general idea could be the biggest threat of all because of the way he is so organised and has his teams playing. For me, I think the best thing that Liverpool can possibly do is we need to get legs in the midfield. I think Szoboszlai and Gravenberch obviously finish a game against Burnley at the weekend as the midfielders, and I just think that extra energy will help Liverpool to stop the counter-attacks formulating. I think McAllister is very good at that as well. He's very good at those individual battles and winning the ball and winning free kicks as well. But I just think we know that he went off potentially injured. We don't know how long he's going to be out for, or whether he's going to be back for this game, whether it was just an impact injury. But for me, I think I would be looking at playing Szoboszlai in there to get the legs into the midfield with Gravenberch. Just to match the work rate and the physicality of Atletico Madrid, because we know we're going to be in for a bit of a dogfight. Even though it is at Anfield, Atletico Madrid have got a very good team and work very hard for the manager. So that will be my personal choice in there. As well with the Gravenberch and Szoboszlai thing, you've got to look at the left back situation as well. We know Milos Kerkez, it's not been the best start to his Liverpool career. He is rash. And they're coming up against a counter-attacking player like Simeone. Will Kerkez struggle? Is this a game for Robertson, who, again, also came on against Burnley and played very, very well, but he didn't have much defending to do? If you're going to go for the likes of Robertson and you want the experience in there, which I actually think Arne Slot might do, I think you're going to need the legs of Gravenberch and Szoboszlai to help cover where Andy Robertson's flaws are and just solidify that left-hand side of the defence, and you'll get that with those two in midfield. In terms of obviously Alvarez, again, look, there's a lot of threats for Atletico Madrid, and you can't nullify all of them. I think what you've got to do is similar to what Atletico Madrid will try to do at Liverpool at Anfield. I think you've got to play the game in the opposition's half. You've got to push high up the pitch, and you've got to be compact, stay compact, make it tough to play through you, and try and keep it narrow from striker to defence. You've got to try and keep it narrow and make sure you win the ball high up the pitch, so that you've not got the distance to try and travel you closer to the goal. It's going to create more opportunities, and two, you're going to need that with somebody as defensive, with a team as defensively solid as Atletico Madrid under Simeone. So I think you've got to try and focus on what we can do. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, depending on what McAllister's doing, because we know Curtis Jones is out. If McAllister was to start, for me personally, I look at the midfield and I know we need Wirtz to sort of step it up a little bit. I don't think he's been bad by any stretch of imagination. I just think he's got more to offer. But what I will say is these could be the games where Florian Wirtz really steps up, where he finds a space in European football. It's not the physicality of the Premier League. Okay, this game may be an exception with Atletico Madrid, but I think the Champions League is where we're going to see Wirtz excel this year. But what I will say is, in this particular game, I would be more than comfortable seeing that workman-like midfield of Gravenberch, of McAllister and Szoboszlai. And what would that mean for Florian Wirtz? Do you drop Florian Wirtz? Do you push him out over to the left? I think maybe Gakpo could do with a night off, whether that means Verts playing there, whether that means Rio and Gamola coming in. We'll have to wait and see. Again, another one. I actually think Rio will start this game and Gakpo will be rested for the Everton game at the weekend. I'm going to quickly run through the lineup that I think Arne Slot's going to choose, and I think there will be changes. I think you've got to rotate and you've got to ensure you can keep these guys fresh before we burn out. No brainer, Alisson in goals again. I think that's a guarantee. I think at right back he's going to go Bradley purely off the back of he has played a lot of minutes in the last week or so with Northern Ireland and with Liverpool at the weekend, but I think he's showing that his fitness is there, he is fit, he can start, and I think his performance against Burnley when he came onto the pitch, I actually thought Conor Bradley was one of our better players. In terms of centre-backs, again, another obvious one, we're going to be looking at Konate, we're going to be looking at Van Dijk, and at left-back, I actually think he's going to go for Andy Robertson, which could be a bit of a mismatch with the pace of Simeone, but again, we'll wait and see. I think Robertson's got the experience to nullify that threat, and I think you're probably going to be in for a little bit more of a stressful time if you start Kirk as a. But again, we'll have to wait and see on that. In terms of a midfield, I don't think McAllister's going to start. I think he's going to go for Gravenberch. I think he's going to go Szoboszlai, and I think he's going to go Florian Wirtz. Like I say, I think these are the games where Florian Wirtz can really excel and show Liverpool fans what he is capable of, because we haven't seen too much of that in the Premier League so far. And then up front, like I say, I think Salah and Hugo Ekitike start this one. We will see Alexander Isak come off the bench. Arne Slot announced that in the pre-match interview before the Burnley game, when he was obviously answering questions in respect to why Alexander Isak wasn't even on the bench against Burnley. So he did say that we're going to see Isak get some minutes. I think he said he could probably try and get him in for 45 minutes. So what we might see is potentially Ekitike start the game, Isak come in on the second half, depending how the game's going. And like I've already said, left-hand side, I actually think this will be a fantastic opportunity for Rio and Gamola. I think Arne Slot will put him in there because, look, we learnt from experience last year. We won the league phase and we got a draw against PSG, who went on to win the Champions League. I think these games are a little bit less vital than what they used to be in terms of when it was the group stages. I think you can drop a few points and still be in with a chance of finishing in the top 8. I don't think Liverpool will have any worries whatsoever about finishing from 9th to 24th. The issue then you've got a knockout game, and we saw last year where Man City got beat by Real Madrid in the knockout stages. It could be detrimental, but if you win those games, then you've also picked up extra millions from playing extra games. But as a Liverpool fan, I'd want to avoid that. So hopefully we can get in the top 8, but I do think Arne Slot will see this as an opportunity to rotate some players. In terms of a score prediction, I actually think it'll be quite comfortable, to be fair. I think I'm going to go for a Liverpool 3-1 win, and look, I've said it all video. I think this could be the game where Florian Wirtz really excels and announces himself to Liverpool. I'm going to go for a Florian Wirtz goal. Liverpool 3, Atletico Madrid 1. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know your score predictions. Let me know who you think is going to score. I'll see you on the next one.